Okay, today we are starting a brand new era, and it is called the Constitution era. I'll go over a few things with you to make sure we're clear on stuff, but the topic is Articles of Confederation. This is America's first ever form of government, ever, but it was bad, so we are going to get rid of it. So you're going to be summarizing the strengths and weaknesses of the Articles of Confederation because it's something we get rid of. We are going to talk about the good parts and the bad parts. Um, but there's a few things we'll go over to make sure you have this all figured out. You're going to go ahead. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Click her for your assignment. Sorry about that. So you'll make a copy. I'm going to explain a few things. Let this open. Okay, I need to make sure that you understand that there are two different types of government. We have federal government and state government. The problem is federal government has four different names and they all mean the same thing. Federal, national, central, United States, they all mean the same exact thing. We have one name for state government. This is what I want you to, you can use this scenario. You can read this. So what I'm saying is, so think of federal government like the principles that are the all the principals out of school. So if they make a rule, it's for the whole school. If I make a rule, it's just for my classroom. So can I, as a teacher, make a rule that applies to the whole school? No, I can't. That's like I'm like a state government, and your principals are like the federal government. And so that's just another way to understand the difference between the two governments. However, our federal government is made up of people from every single state. So again, don't let this confuse you. I may say central 1 second, natural United States, national United States, federal. It's all the same thing. Okay. And just one makes decisions for the entire country, whereas one just makes it for just a state because it's called state government. We are no longer the colonies. We are now the United States of America, and we are Americans. So you can kind of read through this to kind of help you think about that comparison. So I want you to read all through here. The basics of this is, let's say I need to have a car. I am an adult and I have to have a car, but my car is a piece of junk, so I get rid of it. What do I need to do? I have to get a new one. So the colonies had a piece of junk government. What did they have to do? They had to get rid of it and get a new one. So they're going to create it. The Continental Congress is going to do so. I need you to read this right here. You have to read this, and you need to notice a pattern that you're going to see the word fear, terrified, nervous. The Continental Congress was terrified of creating a government that would turn out to be like Great Britain, bossy, dictatorship like. They were terrified of doing that, so they went from one extreme to the other. They were scared of having a president, so they had no president. They were scared of federal taxes, so they had no federal taxes. So here's what you're going to do. It's pretty simple. Here are the good parts of the plan, some of them, okay? We will talk, even though we're more focused on the bad parts, there are some strengths, some good things. All you have to do is retype those here and then go online and find a visual of declaring war, a visual of assigning a treaty, emitting a state, managing the postal service, the post office. This is a big deal because the only way to communicate is by letters and mail unless you get up and walk. So that's kind of why that's a big deal. The shape of the United States does not look like this right now. It's got this whole extra part because of the land won after the French and Indian War. So there's blank land for new states. So the only people that can admit a new state is the federal government. Think of it like the federal government, like the parent, and the states like the kid. You can't just come home and say, hey, mom, I adopted a kid from down the street. We're going to take care of them. You can't do that. But can a parent come home and say, we just adopted a child? Yes. So the only people that can add to the family is the federal government. So the weaknesses, you'll retype those here and find a visual. There was no president. Yes, the country you live in now started with no president, no federal judges. You cannot tax the federal government cannot tax anyone, so that's not going to end well. Only one vote per state, and they planned. This is not an effect. They said, Yay, we have a weak federal government. We're so excited. That's the plan. Because again, they thought if the federal government was too powerful, they would take over the US and everything would be back like Great Britain. So you'll go here. What are the effects? The only way you're going to be able to know these is if you listen to my voice right now and type them in. What is the effect of not having a president? There is no leadership, and no judges means unsolved problems. So typing here, no leadership, unsolved problems. What's the effect of no taxes? The federal government is broke. No federal military. So again, the federal government is broke, no federal military. So remember that the states, they can tax their citizens in that state. So each state has their own military. That is stupid because you're going to see on Thursday how that goes really bad. One vote per state. That is populated states are angry. Populated states are angry. So to exaggerate, that's like one state having 5 million people and another state having 10. Well, the Articles of Confederation says, what's the difference between 5 and 10 million? Each state only gets one vote. Whatever they're voting on, who cares? It's just they only get one vote, no matter how much populated your state is or not. And the last thing is weak federal government. People don't take the United States seriously. The United States is not taken seriously. The United States is not taken seriously because, well, the federal government's weak and they're supposed to be the one in charge of everybody. And then you can find a visual that goes along with each of those. The last thing is, this is really important, but you are going to somehow construct a one-branch tree. I will try and draw this out for you on another video, but you were probably have grown up being told that, oh, we have 3 branches of government. Yeah, we do now, but that is not how we started the United States of America. We had one branch. Well, I guess I could do it right now. We had one branch of government, and it first off, our first ever government, what you have to remember is it's called the Articles of Confederation. We had a one-branch government, and it was called the legislative branch. We still have that branch today, but guess what? We have 2 other ones to go with it. This one branch, let me make my branch longer, had 1 leaf on it. It was called Congress. We still have that today also, but we've changed a few things. So this is, and you probably can find some drawing tools right in here. I know you can, to do exactly what I just did. So it's called the Articles of Confederation. Is the first government we ever had in the U.S., but we don't have any more because it was bad. No one buys a tree with 1 branch. That looks absolutely stupid. But we had the legislative branch, and I always tell you when you see this, you should cross it out and you should write lawmaker because that's what it means. So we had a lawmaking branch, but that was it. Who's the leader of America? All these guys would need to raise their hand at the same time. We had no one person to go talk to. This group was the leadership. That's stupid too. We'll realize that soon. Okay, so the next thing is you are going to write a letter. Don't make this difficult. Keep it easy. All you're doing is rewriting your notes. So you're going to type down here, dear friend, the U.S. just created a new form of government called the what? What's our new form of government? The one big thing you learned about today, Articles of Confederation. There are, and that's a typo, this should be 4, because I only told you about 4 today. There are 4 strengths, and then list them. The U.S. government can operate the post office. How thrilling. But it really was a big deal. It just might not seem like a big deal to you. There are some major weaknesses. I think the worst is, so I'm going to go back to my notes, and I'm going to look at what the weaknesses are, and I'm going to make an opinion. Which one do I think is the worst? Pick one. The only way you can get it wrong is by not picking one. So you'll go down here and you'll retype, there are some major weaknesses. I think the worst is, and why do you think that weakness is so bad? And then sincerely your name. So all you have to do is copy this and finish the sentences, type it down here, okay? You are successful if I showed you this list and you told me it came from the Articles of Confederation. If I showed you this list and you told me it came from the Articles of Confederation, there's one document this year I will teach you the strengths and weaknesses, and it's what you're looking at right now. You just have to memorize that. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm apologize for the lateness of the video. I hope to get you the other one sooner, but you can join Zoom. I did this live in every single class period. So you can join us in Zoom and you can ask live questions in there also. That is kind of new. Instead of Zooms on Mondays and Wednesdays, I will have it open for you to get the learning during that time also.